Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins Collections, where we uncover the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Today, we've got a special coin from the United States that might surprise you, the 1971 Lincoln 1 cent. Now, I know what you might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? Well, don't be so quick to judge. This small coin holds a big secret, and by the end of this video, you'll see why it could be worth far more than its face value. So, let's dive right in and explore what makes the 1971 Lincoln cent such a hidden treasure for collectors. First, let's take a quick look at the history of this coin. The 1971 Lincoln cent was minted during an era when the U.S. was transitioning in many ways, including changes in coin design and composition. The familiar image of Abraham Lincoln has been gracing the obverse of the penny since 1909, and the reverse features the iconic Lincoln Memorial, which was first introduced in 1959. This particular coin was part of the regular circulation, meaning millions of these pennies were produced and spent in everyday transactions. But here's the thing, even though it was minted in large numbers, the 1971 Lincoln cent has become quite rare in top condition today. Most of these pennies were heavily circulated, used, and abused by the public, which means finding one that is in mint or near mint condition is incredibly rare. And when I say rare, I mean rare enough to be worth a lot more than just 1 cent, but the true value of the 1971 Lincoln cent doesn't stop there. What really makes this coin stand out among others are the minting errors that have turned it into a must-have for collectors. Error coins are the holy grail of coin collecting, and the 1971 penny has some fascinating errors that have caught the attention of collectors around the world. One of the most well-known and valuable errors found on the 1971 Lincoln cent is the double die variety. This happens when the coin is struck multiple times, causing the design to be slightly misaligned. The result? A doubled image that's especially visible on the lettering around Lincoln's profile and the details in the memorial. If you take a close look at the words, Liberty or, In God We Trust, you might notice the faint doubling of these letters, which is a clear sign that you have an error coin. This type of error can significantly increase the value of the coin, as it's highly sought after by collectors looking for that unique flaw that makes the coin stand out. Another error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, which results in the design being struck off-center. These coins are extremely rare and add an extra layer of uniqueness to any collection. An off-center strike creates a coin that looks different from the standard issue, and collectors love the rarity of these pieces. The condition of the coin is just as important as the errors it may have. When it comes to the 1971 Lincoln cent, those that have been kept in excellent condition, without the typical wear and tear of everyday circulation, are the real treasures. Coins in mint state, meaning they have sharp details, clean surfaces, and no visible damage, are incredibly hard to find, especially when it comes to a coin that's been around for over 50 years. And you know what that means, it makes them incredibly valuable. Now, let's get to the exciting part. You might be wondering, how much could this 1971 Lincoln cent be worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to find one of these pennies in exceptional condition, or if you've stumbled upon a 1971 penny with one of these rare errors, you could be looking at a value of up to $73,000. That's right, $73,000 for a single penny. It's incredible, isn't it? A simple coin like the 1971 Lincoln cent could be worth thousands of dollars if you happen to find the right one. So, if you're sorting through your change or going through your coin collection, make sure to give your 1971 pennies a closer look. Check for errors like the double die or the off-center strike. If you've got one in mint condition or with a rare error, you could be holding a small fortune. Today, we're talking about a coin that may have slipped under the radar for many collectors, the 1972 Lincoln 1 cent. You might be thinking, it's just a penny. But trust me, this little coin packs a big punch when it comes to value, rarity, and fascinating minting errors. Stick around until the end, because you won't believe how much this coin could be worth. Let's start with a quick refresher on the history of the 1972 Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny has been one of the most iconic coins in American currency since 1909, with the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. By 1972, the U.S. Mint had already been producing millions of these pennies for decades, and the 1972 edition was no different. In fact, a staggering number of these coins were minted that year, but here's where it gets interesting. Not all 1972 Lincoln cents are created equal. While many of these pennies have been worn down from years of circulation, there are certain varieties and errors that make the 1972 penny one of the most coveted by collectors today. Now, what really sets this coin apart is its rarity in pristine condition. Like many coins from this era, the 1972 Lincoln cent saw a lot of circulation, which means most of the ones you find will have scratches, wear, and signs of age. However, there are some rare specimens out there that have survived the decades in mint or near mint condition. Coins in excellent condition are always worth more, especially when it comes to a coin that's over 50 years old. The demand for these high-quality 1972 pennies has skyrocketed, and collectors are on the lookout for coins that have sharp details, no visible damage, and minimal wear. If you happen to have a 1972 Lincoln cent that's in great condition, you're holding on to something truly valuable. But wait, there's more. The 1972 Lincoln cent is also famous for a rare and highly sought-after minting error, the double die variety. This is an error that occurs when the design on the coin is struck twice, causing a doubling effect on certain details. For the 1972 penny, the doubling is most noticeable in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." When you look closely at these letters, you'll notice that they appear to be slightly duplicated, one of the hallmarks of a double die error. These error coins are incredibly rare, and they're highly prized by collectors, as they offer a glimpse into the minting process and the uniqueness of each coin. Another interesting error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck off-center. These off-center strikes are a rarity in themselves and are often seen as a true collector's gem. If you come across a 1972 Lincoln cent with this type of error, you found a coin that stands out from the rest of the pack. Now, the rarity and errors are important factors, but let's not forget about the condition. As I mentioned earlier, a coin's condition is crucial when it comes to determining its value. A 1972 penny in excellent, uncirculated condition can fetch a pretty penny, but if you have one with a rare error, like the double die or off-center strike, the value could be even higher. The fact that so few of these coins remain in pristine condition, and with these minting errors, makes them highly valuable in the eyes of collectors. So, how much could your 1972 Lincoln 1 cent be worth? If you've got one of these rare pennies in mint condition, or even better, if you found one with a double die error or an off-center strike, you could be sitting on a coin worth an incredible $76,000. That's right, $76,000 for a single penny. It's incredible how something as small as a penny could hold such value, right? So, the next time you come across a 1972 Lincoln cent, take a moment to inspect it closely. Look for signs of wear, check for any unusual errors, and if you find one in mint condition with a double die or off-center strike, you could be holding onto a true treasure. Today, we're talking about a coin that may just be hiding in your collection or even in your pocket, a coin that could be worth far more than its face value. That's right, today's feature is the 1973 Lincoln 1 cent. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's just a penny. But let me tell you, this particular penny has a fascinating story, and if you're a coin enthusiast or collector, you'll definitely want to stick around and learn what makes this coin so special. You won't believe how much it could be worth. Let's start with the basics. The 1973 Lincoln cent is part of the ongoing series of pennies featuring Abraham Lincoln's image on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These designs are familiar to all of us, and millions of these pennies were struck by the U.S. Mint in 1973. But here's the twist: while this penny may have been produced in large numbers, it's the rare specimens that truly stand out. As with any coin, the condition plays a major role in determining its value. Most 1973 pennies have seen years of circulation, which means they've been through a lot: scratches, discoloration, and the usual wear and tear that coins experience. However, finding a 1973 Lincoln cent in exceptional, uncirculated condition is a real treat. A coin that has been kept in mint state, free from damage, is a rarity in itself. And the 1973 penny, like many other coins from that era, has become harder and harder to find in pristine condition. So, if you've got one of these coins in excellent shape, you might just have a valuable collector's item on your hands, but the 1973 Lincoln cent has something more to offer than just its condition. Like many coins from this period, the 1973 penny is also known for its minting errors, which make it highly sought after by collectors. Error coins are among the most exciting discoveries for coin lovers, and the 1973 Lincoln cent has its own set of fascinating mistakes that can add incredible value to the coin. One of the most famous errors that collectors search for in the 1973 penny is the double die variety. This happens when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned or is used multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled. For the 1973 Lincoln cent, the doubling effect is often visible on the letters, especially in Liberty and In God We Trust. If you closely examine these words on your 1973 penny and notice a faint doubling, you've found a valuable minting error. Double die coins are highly prized by collectors because they are rare and add uniqueness to any collection. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is struck incorrectly during the minting process, causing the design to be off-center. If you come across a 1973 Lincoln cent with this kind of error, you've found a rare and collectible piece. Off-center strikes can make the coin look unusual and unique, and collectors love these quirky mistakes for how they stand out from the crowd. Of course, finding a 1973 Lincoln cent in excellent condition without any errors can also be valuable, but the real gems are those that come with these minting flaws. Error coins are always in high demand, and if you're lucky enough to have one in your collection, you could be looking at a significant increase in value. So, let's get to the exciting part: how much could your 1973 Lincoln 1 cent be worth? Well, if you happen to find a 1973 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error like a double die or an off-center strike, you could be sitting on a coin worth an incredible $78,000. That's right, $78,000 for a single penny. Imagine the excitement of finding one of these rare pennies in your collection, or better yet, discovering it in a jar of loose change. It's proof that sometimes the most valuable coins are the ones you least expect. If you're going through your old pennies or have a collection you're working on, make sure to take a closer look at any 1973 Lincoln cents you come across. Pay close attention to the condition and watch for those rare minting errors. You never know when you might come across a coin that's worth thousands. Today, we have something special lined up for you: the 1974 Lincoln 1 cent. At first glance, it might seem like just another penny, but trust me, this little coin has a fascinating history and could be worth far more than you think. So, if you love coins and want to find out what makes this 1974 penny so intriguing and valuable, stick around. Let's start with some background on this coin. The 1974 Lincoln cent features the well-known design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This design, which has been around for decades, is one of the most iconic symbols of American currency. Over the years, millions of these pennies were minted, and by 1974, the U.S. Mint was producing vast quantities of Lincoln cents to keep up with demand. But here's the twist: while many of these pennies were circulating day to day, the ones in pristine condition or with minting errors are the real treasures. Now, let's talk about the rarity of the 1974 Lincoln cent. When it comes to coins, the condition is everything. You see, most of the 1974 pennies were heavily circulated, used in everyday transactions, and have undergone quite a bit of wear and tear over the years. So, if you happen to come across a 1974 penny in excellent or uncirculated condition, you're already holding something rare. Coins in mint condition are always in high demand, especially when they've been around for over 40 years. A well-preserved 1974 penny can fetch a significantly higher price than one that's been beaten up by time, but here's where it gets even more exciting. The 1974 Lincoln cent is known for having some pretty incredible minting errors that make it even more valuable. For collectors, error coins are like gold, and the 1974 penny is no exception. The minting process is tricky, and sometimes, things go a little awry, creating unique coins that stand out from the rest. If you're lucky enough to find a 1974 penny with one of these errors, you could be looking at a serious treasure. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1974 Lincoln cent is the double die variety. This happens when the coin's design is struck multiple times, causing the features to appear doubled. In the case of the 1974 penny, the doubling can often be seen on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," as well as on some of the details around Lincoln's profile. If you spot this doubled effect, you're looking at an error coin that collectors will pay a premium for. Double die coins are rare and highly desirable, and they can add significant value to your collection. Another exciting error that can occur with the 1974 penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck off-center. An off-center strike creates a unique, one-of-a-kind coin that's sure to stand out in any collection. These errors are relatively rare, and finding a 1974 Lincoln cent with this mistake could dramatically increase the coin's value. Imagine how cool it would be to own a penny with such an unusual and striking feature. It's not just the minting errors that make the 1974 Lincoln cent so valuable, though. It's also the rarity of the coin itself in exceptional condition. Most 1974 pennies that you'll come across have been used and abused over the years, meaning they're nowhere near as valuable as the coins in pristine shape. So, if you have a 1974 penny in mint condition, or even better, one that features an error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be holding onto a rare find. So, how much could this coin be worth? If you have a 1974 Lincoln 1 cent in exceptional, uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, you might be sitting on a coin worth $79,000. Yes, you heard that right, $79,000 for a single penny. Imagine the excitement of discovering this hidden gem in your collection or in your spare change. A coin that's over 40 years old, with such historical significance and rarity, could be worth a small fortune. So, before you toss your 1974 pennies aside, make sure to take a close look at them. Inspect the condition, search for any minting errors, and who knows, you could have a valuable collector's item on your hands. Today, we're diving into a coin that might just be sitting in your collection or even in your spare change, waiting to surprise you with its true value. I'm talking about the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent. Now, you may think, it's just a penny, but trust me, this coin has an interesting backstory and could be worth far more than you might expect. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this 1975 penny could be worth a small fortune. Let's start by giving you some context. The 1975 Lincoln cent features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Since its introduction in 1909, the Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency, and the 1975 edition is no different. But what makes the 1975 penny stand out in the world of coin collecting is its rarity, its condition, and, of course, the fascinating errors that make this particular coin highly sought after. First off, it's important to understand that most 1975 pennies you'll come across are heavily circulated. After all, this coin has been around for decades and has seen its fair share of transactions over the years. So, finding a 1975 Lincoln cent in pristine, uncirculated condition is already a rare and exciting discovery. A coin that's free from wear and tear, scratches, or discoloration is a collector's dream, and it's a key factor in determining the value of this penny. But here's where things get really interesting. The 1975 Lincoln 1 cent is famous for a few minting errors that make it a treasure for collectors. Error coins, as you may know, are highly sought after, and the 1975 penny has a few varieties that could make your coin worth much more than its face value. One of the most sought-after errors for the 1975 penny is the double die variety. This occurs when the design on the coin is struck twice, causing the image to appear doubled. In the case of the 1975 Lincoln cent, you can often spot this error on the word Liberty or on In God We Trust. The letters appear slightly doubled, which is a rare and exciting feature for collectors. If you have a 1975 penny with this kind of doubling, you may have stumbled upon a real gem. Double die coins are particularly valuable because they're unique. No two are exactly the same. Another fascinating error you might find with the 1975 penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is struck off-center during the minting process, creating a coin with a misaligned design. These off-center strikes are incredibly rare and sought after because they give the coin an unusual and unique look. If you find a 1975 Lincoln cent with this type of error, you could be holding a piece of history that stands out from the rest. Now, let's talk about the importance of condition again. As I mentioned earlier, most of the 1975 pennies you come across are worn down from years of circulation. But a coin in exceptional condition, especially one with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, can be worth a lot more than you might think. The rarity of these coins in good condition, combined with the added value of the minting errors, makes them a collector's dream. So, what could your 1975 Lincoln 1 cent be worth? If you've got one of these rare pennies in uncirculated condition, or better yet, if you find one with a double die or off-center strike error, then you might just have a coin worth an incredible $72,000. Yes, you heard that right, $72,000 for a single penny. Imagine the excitement if you find one of these coins in your collection, or if you happen to come across one in your pocket change. It's proof that sometimes the most valuable coins are the ones you least expect. So, the next time you're looking through your pennies or checking out a coin jar, make sure you take a closer look at any 1975 Lincoln cents. You might just have a small fortune sitting right under your nose. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found this video informative and exciting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future discoveries. Until next time, happy collecting, and remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story is worth thousands.